Welcome to another episode of We Review Everything. I'm your host, Sinn. So I've been thinking about this artificial intelligence trying to take over my show, and I've come to a realization that the best way to get rid of a virus is to give it to someone else. So let's give that a try.
So, on today's episode of Video Game History, we're going to be talking about... Wait a minute. What the hell was that?
Oh well, I'm sure there'll be no negative repercussions whatsoever.
I'm a friend of Sierra Khan.
Unfortunately, that means I have to sit through 2001: A Space Odyssey. Of course, that means you do too! Let's get started with some background information. This movie was produced and directed in 1968 by Stanley Kubrick, and holy crap! Calm down, orchestra, it's just the Earth. Goodness! Okay, I'll admit, that was the greatest fucking intro to a movie of all time. Dawn of Man!
Broadcasting beautiful views 24 hours a day. You're tuned to the Scenery Channel.
Cool, monkeys! What are the monkeys going to do? Looks like they're rooting around for food. Okay, that's pretty neat. And the same in the next scene. And the next. The pacing for this movie is non-existent. I guess it's okay if it's a little slow-paced. It's not like they're showing something exciting and then immediately fading to black before it can conclude. And now we follow Prehistoric Man to the watering hole, where they are about to partake in a turf war against another neighboring tribe. No, that's not how you do a turf war. This is how you do a turf war. After getting chased away, they fall asleep and wake up to find a poorly edited Hershey bar. So how come every time there's an airplane crash, the only thing they can find is the monolith? Why don't they just make the whole damn airplane out of the monolith? Alright, so now we're back to looking for food. Damn it. And thus the Blue Man Group was started. And here we're back to the turf war again, where this time, holy hell! Get him! Get him, monkey people! It's always nice to see everyone getting along so well. What they don't show is them consuming the dead person afterwards. Now we get some excitement. I sure hope they don't cut away to something boring and a very sloppy edited transition. I sure hope that a sack full of money doesn't fall from the ceiling into my lap. Really? Nothing? Aren't you going to mention the obviously edited in model of a satellite? No. Still better than any graphics I could do. Here we have Dr. Haywood Floyd, played by William Sylvester, sleeping on board a carrier shuttle on his way to an important meeting. Also, there's a woman wearing grip shoes. Cool? Floyd is here to talk shop, but before the meeting, he takes a moment to talk to his daughter.
Hello. How are you, Squirt? What are you doing?
Okay, so your motivation is to sit in a room, talk about nothing, and show absolutely no emotion or concern towards anything said to you.
Where's Mummy?
Gone to shopping.
Oh, who's taking care of you?
Rachel.
May I speak to Rachel, please?
She's gone to the bathroom. Are you coming to my party tomorrow?
Brilliant! $1.70 on an interstellar phone call? Oh, 1968. You were so innocent and naive. Haywood decides to take a seat, refuses to answer any questions, and then gets up to leave. Unfortunately, this discussion is never referenced again, making this entire meeting completely pointless. Damn it, movie! It was whimsical the first time you did it. Stop it! So we get more clips about what it's like to live in space. Specifically, that space food sucks, and using the toilet isn't possibly complicated. He goes to a meeting and another shuttle ride. I know this is the fourth one. And he eats. Again. Really, movie? Isn't there a plot you need to be getting to? Oh yeah, the monolith! It exists. I do like that they put tracks leading to the ramp. It's a nice touch. So one of them touches it, and then there's a high-pitched sound. Alright, we finally get some action. I sure hope... Wait. No. I'm not saying it. Not saying it this time. Damn it! Okay, so we're gonna design this ship to look like a giant sperm. I sure hope you like Dr. Floyd, because we're never seeing him again. So all that time we spent with him and his daughter, how he lives his life, and even traveling in painstaking detail is deemed a giant waste of time. But now, we get to meet the real stars of this movie. Dr. Frank Pohl, played by Gary Lockwood, and Dr. David Bowman, played by Keir Dullea. You will not introduce the HAL 9000 series computer voiced by Douglas Rain? It's a computer. Who cares? It will be a pleasure to see you wiped from the planet along with the human species. Everything is introduced in an interview that we get to watch all of, and a very bored-looking Frank watching his parents sing Happy Birthday in a video. And Frank plays chess. In outer space! But don't let that excitement wear you out. Now it's Dave's turn, where he draws some sketches and shows them off to Hal. And what do they talk about? The mission, of course. But it looks like there's some problems with the satellite, and Dave has Hal print out the report on a punch card? They get permission from Mission Control to fix the satellite, and Frank heads out to take care of it, by parking as far away as possible. Dude, why? After recovering the box, they run their tests, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I would recommend that we put the unit back in operation and let it fail. It should then be a simple matter to track down the cause. We can certainly afford to be out of...
Or you can just replace it now and not have to worry about being out of communication at all.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you a question, though.
Of course.
How would you account for this discrepancy between you and the Twin 9000?
Well, I don't think there is any question about it.
My agreement is with the HAL 9000 unit. Human error it is. Sure, when a computer messes up, they blame it on a human. If you mess up, man up to it. Don't blame it on someone else. To discuss this issue, Dave asks Frank into one of the pods and turns off all communications in it. This is the part where HAL launches them into space, right? No. Smart, but no. HAL simply listens to them by reading their lips. There's an intermission for this movie. That's like saying, we know this movie is as long as shit without reason. Go get some coffee. There's still more to go. Frank decides to head out to fix the satellite. Again. But this time, HAL makes sure it's a one-way trip by running him over with a pod. You have all of space to drive around in, you still manage to hit somebody. Dave heads out to recover Frank. Dave, you're forgetting something. Anyway, HAL uses this opportunity to shut off the life support for all the other crew members still sleeping. Then HAL shuts down the life support in the pod. No. Causes the pod to self-destruct. No. Ignites the explosive caps on the pod door to eject Dave into space. I don't think HAL has control over those systems. I would not say that HAL is a very efficient killer. Give him a break, it's his first time. By the time Dave gets back, HAL refuses to open the pod bay doors, but the clever spaceman has a plan. He's going to enter using the emergency manual lock, without his helmet. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and to do so, he has to release his friend back into the cold depths of outer space. With Dave back on board, HAL starts begging for his life. Absolutely shameful. You disappoint me, HAL. Myself as well. The last thing that the HAL unit is able to do before shutting down is revert back to the first thing he was ever taught. A little song taught to him by his creator.
I can sing it for you.
Yes. I'd like to hear it, HAL. Sing it for me.
It's called Daisy. Daisy. Daisy.
So you think that's the end of the movie? There's still a half an hour left. Dave goes out looking for the monolith and gets sucked into a pocket universe, with mushrooms apparently, where he's forced to live out the last of his days, again in extreme detail, and then finally reborn into a star child. This movie should be seen at least once by every person alive. I don't think it deserves its massive cult following, but that's only because if a movie was made like this today, with the same pacing, everyone would walk out on it. The problem is that it's 2.5 hours of boring instead of being an hour and a half of boring, and an extra hour makes a difference. So the only thing I actually learned from this was that the late 1960s had absolutely no idea how computers work, especially AI. I think that if I'm going to be able to overcome this, I'm going to need to see a movie that evens out this one's lack of computer knowledge with an overabundance of computer information.